How's it going, friends? My name is Fringy and welcome to Should I Play Sunset Overdrive. Now, I played Sunset Overdrive for about 5 hours. You guys would have seen it in the stream. This game is fun as shit, and I'm enjoying it a lot. It's a really fun game, and it's good to see Insomniac actually return to form and deliver a great game. So, the open world of Sunset City is huge, but it's not just huge, it's dense. It's a open world that you want to go and explore because it's filled with activities to do, collectibles to find, awesome things to see because the game itself looks great, and I'll get to that later, and enemies to fight. And you will want to fight the enemies when you're zipping around the world. Now, the movement system in this game is great. I love parkour in games, especially when it allows you to move very quickly and rewards you for actually being highly mobile. As someone who always was told not to be mobile when I was playing first-person shooters, it's good to see that games now actually reward you for being jumping all over the place and using a variety of different movements. Now, this works mostly well. Grinding tends to work, swapping between shooting from below a grind and above a grind, running on walls. All these things tend to work really well, though there are the occasional clunky bits. And that's usually because there's so much shit happening on screen that it's sometimes hard to see what you're doing. But for the most part, it works really well. It rewards fast traversal. The game has a style system that basically gives you more abilities, powers up your amps, and lets you inflict way more damage on enemies. And you get rewarded and earn more style points the more variety you put into how you play. If you just stand on the ground shooting shit, you don't get points. Not to mention that the enemies swarm you. But when you're zipping around on zip lines and running on the wall and shooting things while you're in the air, bouncing off cars, you get points fast. And then when everything starts blowing up, it's insanely satisfying. Speaking of satisfying, the weapon arsenal. Oh my god, the weapon arsenal is so fun to use. There's a huge variety of weapons, some of my favorites being the TN Teddy, which shoots teddy bears that blow up on impact. The variety of weapons is awesome, and obviously this is expected from an Insomniac game because they've always done that well, but this is one of the best arsenals they've ever made. All the weapons are fun, enjoyable, have their own benefits and disadvantages, and work in different circumstances. And all of the weapons are fun to use. They all have insane color and pop to them. The visual fidelity and the design of the weapons is great, and it all blends together when you're zipping around. It's really fun to use the weapons. There's also a variety of enemies. It doesn't really look like it when you see gameplay, or at least pre-release gameplay, but there are a variety of enemies. There are different types of OD'd, being the mutants. You gotta fight different sort of human enemies as well as robots. Each of them have a unique style and unique personality to them. And it makes this game's combat insanely fast-paced, fun, and over the top. It doesn't take itself too seriously. One thing I will say, though, is that the missions can get repetitive. This is a game that is about shooting shit all the time. I mean, you're going to be pressing down on right trigger for most of the game. And so, because of that, it can get kind of repetitive. There are a lot of fetch quests of, oh, go here, pick up this shit, or go here, kill these enemies, go somewhere else. They do use that a bit too often. It would have been nicer for them to have a little bit more diversity in the single-player content, though I heard the multiplayer is a lot more fun in that regard. Now, when we talk about this game's graphics, even though it's an Xbox One game, the game itself looks beautiful. And it's not because of the textures. The textures are okay, but it all has to do with the color palette. This game is really colorful. You've got blues, oranges, reds, a whole variety of colors. And it's a lot better to see a post-apocalyptic game, or just a game in general in the modern industry that has a color palette that consists of more colors than brown and fucking gray. Because this game just, it indulges in color. And because of the color, it all feels lively. Just, even when nothing's happening on screen, which isn't very often, but even when nothing's happening, everything still feels more lively than a lot of other open world games that are so gloomy and dark. It helps that the game sounds good as well. I like the soundtrack. I'm not even a fan of punk rock, which seems to be the bulk of the soundtrack in this game, but I enjoy it, and it works well when you're actually playing the game. There's good voice acting, and it has good sound assets. But the best part about the game in terms of the presentation to me is that it has a good sense of humor. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's willing to poke fun at itself and other tropes within gaming and media in general. It has lots of pop culture references, breaks the fourth wall all the time, and is willing to joke about things and just make fun of itself. And even though it makes fun of itself and actually points out some problems within the game, it's still a lot of fun. Though I will say that the fourth wall breaks are some of the best things, when they're literally addressing the player or addressing the music in the game, or like, oh no, not another one of these missions. Those things make it funny. Though some of the jokes kind of fall flat on their ass depending on the circumstance, but at least they're fucking trying, and at least they're willing to have fun with this game. And that's probably the one thing that makes me happiest about this game, is that it's just willing to have fun with itself. It's not a game that's trying to take itself super seriously. It's not a game that's really even trying to innovate as much as Insomniac would like you to think it does. Because really, it is just a combination of a lot of other games like Ratchet & Clank, Jet Set Radio, Tony Hawk, Infamous. It combines all of these together, but it does it to good effect. And the fact that it's colorful, bright, has personality, is willing to make fun of itself, and reward you for just having sheer lunacy. And willing to go balls to the wall action with no real explanation. That's what makes this game so great. The fact that it's just a fun game to play. Now, is it the best game ever? No way. Is it the best game of the year? I don't think so. Because it does have some problems. But is it one of the better Xbox One games? Fuck yeah. If you have an Xbox One, you gotta buy Sunset Overdrive. Because it would be a shame for you and disrespectful to gaming in general if you didn't pick up a game that just wanted to let you have fun. And in that regard, Sunset Overdrive succeeds with flying fucking colors. Thanks for watching Should I Play Sunset Overdrive. I'm Fringy, and as always, have a good one.